Imagine you are sitting across from your colleague Daniel at lunch. Daniel drives a matte black Range Rover. He just got back from a week in the Maldives. He wears a watch that costs more than your first car. At every dinner, he's the one who waves the server down and grabs the check before anyone else can reach for their wallet. You have always quietly assumed that Daniel has it figured out, that Daniel is winning. Now imagine finding out that Daniel has $11 in his checking account. Not because of some freak emergency, not because of a medical crisis or a family disaster, but because Daniel earns $310,000 a year and spends $311,000 every single year. He has been doing this for 6 years. His net worth, after 6 years of top 1% income, is negative $40,000. The Range Rover is leased. The watch was put on a card that charges 22% interest. The Maldives trip was booked on miles he will spend the next 3 years paying off. Daniel is not an outlier. Daniel is the rule. My name is Phil, and I have spent the last several years studying a very specific financial phenomenon. Not poverty, not the working class struggle. I study the collapse of people who should, by every metric, be completely fine. I study high earners who are secretly, silently, structurally broke. And what I have found will make you rethink everything you believe about money, status, and what it actually means to be wealthy. If you earn a 6-figure salary and somehow feel like you are always running on empty, stay with me because I built this for you. Hit subscribe and leave this video running because we are about to dismantle the most expensive illusion in modern financial life. Let me tell you about a woman named Sandra. Sandra graduated with a law degree at 26. By 30, she was earning $180,000 a year at a mid-size firm in Chicago. She did everything right on paper. She celebrated every promotion. She told herself she had earned the right to live well. She moved into a stunning apartment in Lincoln Park, $2,000 a month more than her previous place. She bought a German sedan she had always dreamed about. She started eating at the kind of restaurants where the menu has no prices on it. For about 8 months, life felt like a reward. Then, a partner position she had been building toward for 3 years went to someone else. Sandra decided she needed a change. She started interviewing at other firms. And during that search, she sat down one evening to calculate how long she could survive financially if she took a month off between jobs to decompress. The answer was 19 days. She had been earning over $15,000 a month for 4 years. She had less than $12,000 in liquid savings. The rest had evaporated. Into the apartment, into the car, into the wardrobe she needed to look the part, into the dinners and the weekends, and the constant low hum of spending that came with performing the life of a successful attorney. Sandra told me she sat on her bathroom floor and cried. Not because she was in debt, though there was some, but because of how invisible the money had become. It had never felt like money. It had felt like a current she was floating in, and she had never once stopped to ask where the current was carrying her. That night on the bathroom floor, Sandra discovered what I call the velocity trap. High income creates a dangerous illusion of permanence. When large deposits hit your account on a regular schedule, your brain begins to treat that flow as a law of nature, like gravity, like sunrise. You stop asking whether it will continue and start building infrastructure around the assumption that it always will. You sign multi-year leases. You agree to car payments. You subscribe, commit, upgrade. You construct a financial machine that requires every dollar of your current salary just to stay running. You become a high-performance engine with zero reserves. This is not laziness. This is not stupidity. This is basic human psychology colliding with the seductive consistency of a big paycheck. The paycheck whispers to you every 2 weeks. It tells you that you are safe. And because it has never lied to you before, you believe it. But income is not wealth. Income is a faucet. Wealth is the water in the tank. And most high earners have a beautiful, powerful, expensive faucet pointed directly into an empty bathtub with the drain wide open. Let me show you exactly where the water goes. Start with taxes, because the conversation about salary almost never starts there, and it should start there first. If you are earning $200,000 in a high-tax state, you are not earning $200,000. After federal brackets, state income tax, and payroll contributions, you are realistically taking home somewhere between 58 and 62 cents on every dollar. Your $200,000 salary is $118,000 in real life. That is the first vanishing act. No drama, no announcement, just a quiet reduction that most people mentally skip over because the gross number sounds so much better. Now your $12,000 of monthly real income hits your account. You live in a neighborhood appropriate to your professional image. That's a mortgage or rent payment, let's say $3,500. You have 2 vehicles because your life requires them and because when you were earning this much, it felt absurd to drive something modest. Call it $1,400 a month between the two. Student loans are still alive. Many people reaching high income levels carried significant debt into their careers, so add another $800. Insurance across health, auto, home comes to roughly $900. Childcare, if you have kids, can easily be $2,500. Subscriptions, streaming, memberships, apps, software, another $250. Before you have bought a single meal, taken a single trip, or bought a single piece of clothing, you are already at roughly $9,400 of mandatory monthly outflow against $12,000 in monthly take-home. You have $2,600 left for everything else: groceries, gas, restaurants, gifts, haircuts, the random Tuesday when something breaks and you need to call someone, travel, clothing, anything unexpected. The math is not cruel. The math is just honest, and what it's telling you is that a $200,000 salary, structured the way most people structure it, does not actually produce wealth. It produces a lifestyle that consumes itself. You are not building anything. You are maintaining a very expensive performance. Now, let me show you the 2-column picture that changed how I think about all of this. Column 1 is income. For most high earners, this column looks incredible. Tall, impressive, the kind of number that makes people at parties subtly shift their posture toward you when they hear it. Column 2 is net worth growth. For most of those same high earners, this column is nearly invisible, a thin sliver. Sometimes it points downward. The reason is asset quality. Most high earners are converting their income into things that lose value. Cars lose value the moment they leave the lot, depreciating faster than most people realize and faster than any spreadsheet they ever bothered to run. Consumer goods lose value. Boats, recreational equipment, luxury items, all of it goes one direction. Even large primary residences, while technically classified as assets, are cash flow negative. They demand taxes, maintenance, insurance, and repairs constantly. They do not generate income, they absorb it. Real wealth accumulates through appreciating assets, equities that compound over time, rental properties that generate monthly income and build equity simultaneously, ownership stakes in businesses. These are assets that grow while you sleep, that generate returns without requiring you to show up and perform. If your salary is being siphoned from column 1 directly into things that depreciate, you are not getting richer, you are getting poorer at an impressive income level. You are processing transactions on behalf of car dealerships, landlords, and lenders. You are the middleman in your own financial life. The mechanism that keeps this cycle running is something behavioral economists call hedonic adaptation, but I prefer to call it the invisible escalator. Every time your income goes up, your sense of what is normal goes up with it. A raise does not feel like surplus, it feels like a new floor. You do not invest the extra $2,000 a month. You find $2,000 worth of things your life now needs. A nicer gym, a weekend house, first class on the flights you are already taking. The gap between your income and your expenses never widens because your expenses are magnetically attracted to your income. That gap is the only place wealth is ever built. Think of it as your personal profit margin. A business that brings in $10 million and spends $10 million is not a successful business. It is a busy, exhausting, zero-margin operation that is one disruption away from bankruptcy. We would never look at that business and call it thriving. Yet we run our personal finances exactly that way and call it living well. Wealth requires you to engineer a gap and then protect that gap aggressively. It requires you to make the deliberate, uncomfortable, unfashionable choice to look less prosperous than you are,
to buy the practical car when you could afford the aspirational one, to stay in the apartment one more year when the house would be a reasonable stretch, to let your colleagues assume you are more conservative with money than you need to be, because the alternative is that you join them on the treadmill.
So what does the actual path forward look like? Let me give you the framework I have seen work repeatedly. First, stop measuring your financial health by your income. Your salary is an input. Net worth is the output. Calculate it today. Total assets, everything you own that has real value, minus total liabilities, every debt you carry. The resulting number is your actual financial position. It might be uncomfortable. It will definitely be clarifying. You cannot navigate toward a destination you refuse to look at. Second, automate the surplus before your brain can spend it. The most effective wealth-building strategy is not discipline. Discipline is unreliable. It requires willpower every single day. Instead, set up automatic transfers that move 30 to 40% of each paycheck into investment accounts on the same day the paycheck arrives. Make the decision once, then remove yourself from the equation. Live on what remains. You will adapt faster than you expect. Constraints create focus. When you have unlimited access to your own cash flow, you spend carelessly. When your available balance is smaller, you make sharper decisions. Third, simplify your investment philosophy. High earners frequently believe their professional success signals investment sophistication. It usually does not. Eliminate high-interest debt with emergency urgency. If you are carrying credit card balances while earning six figures, that is a crisis. You are paying 20+% interest with money you already paid income tax on. You need to essentially earn 35 to 40% returns just to break even. Nothing else in your financial picture matters until that bleeding stops. Downsize if you have to. Sell the second car. Pause the investments temporarily. Stop the drain.